A Roman merchant ship is sailing the Red Sea in 330 CE. The captain reaches port, ready to pay his taxes, but not to Rome, not to Caesar, to a king named Izana, ruling from a civilization most people today have never heard of. That single moment tells you everything about how much of history we've been missing. The kingdom of Aksum wasn't a regional footnote. A Persian prophet writing in that same era listed the 4 greatest empires on earth: Rome, Persia, China, and Aksum. An African kingdom, seated in the highlands of modern Ethiopia and Eritrea, was considered a peer to the most powerful civilizations humanity had ever produced. For 840 years, this empire didn't just exist. It shaped the world. The reason was geography and the genius to use it. Aksum sat at the edge of the Red Sea, the ancient world's most valuable trade corridor. Their port city, Adulis, was a living crossroads. Roman ships arrived carrying glass and wine. Indian dhows docked beside them, heavy with spices and silk. Aksum stood at the center not as a bystander but as the authority. Historians estimate they influenced nearly 40% of all trade flowing between Rome and India. They weren't simply collecting tolls either. Aksum exported some of the most coveted goods in the ancient world: ivory, obsidian, frankincense, and myrrh. These weren't luxury extras. Frankincense was burned in temples from Alexandria to Rome. Myrrh was used in medicine, burial rites, and royal ceremonies across 3 continents. Aksum didn't just supply the ancient world's economy. In many ways, it perfumed it. Then came the coins. In the ancient world, minting your own gold currency wasn't just economics, it was a declaration. It told every merchant, every diplomat, every rival power, we are permanent. Aksum became one of the first African kingdoms to mint gold, silver, and bronze coins simultaneously. Their coins carried inscriptions in Greek, the international language of commerce, and later in Guizi, their own script, a quiet, confident assertion of identity on the world stage. Those coins did something else remarkable. They carried symbols. Early Aksumite coins bore the crescent and disk, reflecting the cosmopolitan, multi-faith nature of their society. Then, in the 4th century, King Izana converted to Christianity, and the cross appeared on Aksumite coins. This made Aksum one of the first states in history to officially adopt Christianity, predating the Roman Empire's full embrace of the faith. The coins weren't just currency. They were announcements to the world. Their engineering matched their ambition. Aksum raised towering stone obelisks, stelae, some over 24 meters tall, carved from single pieces of granite and transported without modern machinery across rugged highland terrain. The largest ever attempted weighed an estimated 520 tons. It fell during construction, but the fact that they tried tells you something profound about the scale of their vision. These weren't monuments to ego. They were declarations that this civilization intended to be remembered. Here is the part that reframes everything. Aksum didn't vanish because it was conquered or destroyed. It declined gradually, over centuries, as climate shifts disrupted agriculture. Trade routes slowly migrated away from the Red Sea, and regional pressures mounted. The empire didn't collapse dramatically, quietly stepped back. And the world, busy writing other stories, simply forgot to keep writing theirs. The erasure wasn't violent. It was just neglect. That neglect matters today, because the story of Aksum is really a story about whose history gets preserved and whose gets passed over. When we fill in those blank pages, we don't just learn about one kingdom, we recalibrate our entire understanding of the ancient world. Civilizations like Aksum remind us that human achievement has never belonged to one region, one culture, or one corner of the map. History is always bigger than the version we inherited. Subscribe to factstormhub, we tell stories like this every day. Full article on factstormhub.com.